Visit atwsource.com to take the next step along your path of awakening. You're listening to Awakening Truth, worldwide radio, and its network of radio shows. Presented by the teachers of Awakening Truth Worldwide, where spirituality, truth, and consciousness collide.
Welcome to A Guiding Light. I'm Dr. Joseph Marra, and I'll be your host for the next 60 minutes or so. I'll be joined by my special guest, Alfred Webre, and my lovely co-host, Vanessa da Silva. We'll be discussing what many find as flaws within our current system, including medicine, the legal system, and education, to name a few. What if there was an alternative means of education that addressed all of these factors? What if there was a university that had open enrollment to everyone on this planet? Tune in as we discuss the possibility. Alfred Webre, welcome to A Guiding Light.
Dr. Joe and Vanessa, I'm very, very happy to be here. Yeah, and perhaps since this is a new program, perhaps people do not know that much about my work. I'm a futurist. My book, Exopolitics, published in the year 2000, established the science of exopolitics, which is the science of relations among intelligent civilizations in the multiverse. And we're just now opening the doors of Exo University, which is, as you were describing in the introduction, an ongoing entity online at exouniversity.org for continuing education in exosciences, sci-sciences, and exopolitics. And we're about to launch 7 days from now on May 27th with our online classes in exosciences, time travel, and teleportation. And about a week from now, on Friday, June 1st, we'll be having our first live streaming seminar from 7 to 10 p.m. The Mars Jump Room, where a third whistleblower is going public, confirming the 1980 to 83 CIA Jump Room teleportation program. So these are all historic events in exosciences, in sci-sciences, and in exopolitics, which are precisely the disciplines that are needed for the future, and are those disciplines that the current university system and knowledge system is excluding from the canon and from the curriculum.
Yeah. How did this idea or the concept of this type of educational system come to fruition? Like, could you maybe go through the start to where it is today? Like, how was this just a vision that you had, or was it a multitude of ideas or different people coming together, or how did this all come about?
Well, I think, all projects, they come together through a lot of different influences. I've taught at two major universities. I've taught at Yale University, and I've taught at the University of Texas. And I had prepared curriculum in exopolitics, and I was actually approached by Oxford University Press, which is a division of Oxford University, about a couple of years ago, to write a book on extraterrestrial civilizations and the law. And what I noted was that the subjects of exosciences which are the new quantum access sciences like teleportation and time travel and anti-gravity, that whole new science, which are vital to our new technology and our free energy. The areas of sciences, which include parapsychology, subjects such as human consciousness in telepathy, precognition, how consciousness functions outside of time and space, phenomena like life after death, what life is like in the interlife, in the spirit period between lives, the scientific basis for reincarnation, the scientific basis for cosmology, exactly how can we define what we call God or source? Maybe we're all part of God. And also exopolitics, which, as I mentioned, is the science of relations among intelligent civilizations in the multiverse. Well, all of these are systematically excluded from the university curriculum, and for that matter, all the curriculum in all secondary schools and in all primary schools. Everyone is taught the wrong version of the multiverse, and that is that there is no other intelligent life in the multiverse. The whole subject of the afterlife and reincarnation and telepathy and the extended abilities of the human mind is forbidden, or it's a matter of faith rather than science. And exosciences, you have to be a member of either black projects in intelligence agencies or at a defense contractor, which people find morally repugnant to be able to study those. So that was one of the impetus to found Exo University. The other trigger was that I was a member of Facebook, which we know now has 900 million users, and I had published an article showing that Facebook was really a manifestation of the DARPA and the Department of Defense Total Information Awareness kind of surveillance and espionage program. It's kind of Big Brother, and people, families, and now you have the way you talk to your mother and your cousins is through Facebook. 74% of North American internet users use Facebook. So this is giving an unprecedented amount of surveillance into the human, into our private lives. And yet Facebook was really a brainchild that had been developed back in the 70s as part of the Office of Total Information Awareness. And then when this fellow Zuckerberg had an idea, well, it was taken under the wing, and a lot of the capital came from front companies from the CIA. So, and I ran into at that time. There was a press conference held at the National Press Club by former military officers talking about how extraterrestrial craft had interfered with nuclear missile sites. So I broadcast, I sent the link for the live feed to that and for some video feeds and videotapes of that National Press Club press conference, which, was just a matter of news. I mean, it takes place at the National Press Club, into Facebook, and Facebook effectively shut down my account for that. And I thought that was outright censorship based on a CIA government agenda. And so I wrote a deep article about that, and just on the day that Facebook had done to that, this person synchronistically shows up at my house who was interested in volunteering for us, and she was also friends of some of the early people, not CIA people, but early people who provide some of the seed capital for Facebook. And she said, I'd be very interested in working on a project. And at that point, I had sort of dreamed up the concept of Exo University, because a local college, part of the university system here in Vancouver, had asked me to drop a curriculum in exopolitics, which I did, and I met with, the former head of the department and person high up in the faculty administration, and they said, this is 10 years ahead of the time. We can't possibly do this. And I said to myself during the meeting, I'm just dealing with these people's fears. I'm not dealing with what's real. And I saw that no university on the planet, that universities were applying a knowledge system which was a paradigm for excluding the youth of the planet and the human race from the knowledge that was really important to their future. So I said, let's just invent our new university, and that had to be online because it had to be for the world, and because it dealt with exo, or new things, multidimensional things. We called it Exo University, and we went out, and Exo University is now a division of a British Columbia nonprofit society named the Exo Knowledge Society, which has 5 members, board of directors members as a nonprofit, which it has to be under British Columbia law. And its website is at exouniversity.org. And we are launching on Sunday, May 27th, our first of a series of classes, of forums, in our 2012 forums, 3 classes in the overall subject of an introduction to time travel with an emphasis on teleportation. And eventually we now have an agreement with a sister organization, an institute in Slovenia, that will be translating and putting subtitles onto these videos. It'll be online, and that'll be translated into German, Italian, French, Spanish, Portuguese, Mandarin, Russian, and Slovenian, and Croatian, and other languages. So this will be going around the world, and we have a motto, and the motto is that Harvard now costs $52,000 a year in tuition, and the price of a course at a class at Exo University is about the cost of a latte at Starbucks, so you can make a choice.
All right. Well, I'm sure the listeners have a lot of questions, and because this is all new, and definitely it needs to be done, because there are things within our reality that is not being addressed, it's not being taught, it's not being scientifically researched, at least not in the mainstream. But there are a lot of truths that are out there that just, people want to know more about, but where do you go? So this is a good transition, but just for the listeners, I'm going to ask you some questions because I know they're going to have some questions. And there's a bunch of questions I'm going to kind of put all into one little lump here for you, okay? So many colleges today, they need accreditation in order to be considered a valid educational system. And so what I'd like to ask is, will Exo University have an accreditation, or do we put too much emphasis on the accreditation process? And could this be a part of the whole problem with our current system now?
Yeah, well, that's a key question, and you've asked a question to which there's a developing answer. And because this is just launching now. And so the answer that we put on, and let me kind of go here to our page so I just get it correctly. If people want to find out more about our upcoming launch, just go to exopolitics.com, and you'll see an extended description there. Now, as I said, what we're covering here is the sciences and the disciplines that are of the future, and that will give people knowledge, working knowledge of, and concepts of, to disciplines of the future, of the not-too-distant future. And so viewers who download and watch all 2012 Exo University video classes, there'll be a total of 24 classes in 8 forums, and complete final course requirements, which we'll announce, are eligible for an Exo University certificate. Now, here we go. Quote, that may have future education, employment, and or entrepreneurial value to the viewer. For example, if I enrolled in Exo University and I earn my Exo University certificate in an introduction, in exosciences in 2012 with all these things, you can be sure that I'm going to put that on my resume.
Mm-hmm.
And who's going to say that in interviews, or if people see it on my wall if I'm a practitioner, or in casual conversation, that that's not going to have a positive effect in the marketplace on my, maybe I'll get hired over the next person because I've got that. Or maybe if I am a practitioner, people say, oh, you've been to Exo University. You're on the leading edge.
Right.
So we're out there creating the market now, because these are areas of knowledge that have been placed in the black budget national security area or in classified defense contractors. So you either had to become a spy or you had to work for a classified defense contractor, which many people find morally repugnant. But it's sure that all of these sciences are going to be of great benefit to the future society here on Earth.
Right.
I'm not sure if that begins to address, and over time, then, because you can look at the tremendous problems that some schools are having, especially in certain parts of the U.S., for example, where they have to take certain books out of the library, which are like world classics,
Yeah.
Like To Kill a Mockingbird. I'm not, I read these cases where, these books are being taken out because somebody's objecting to this, that, or the other thing, and school boards are saying, oh, it's creationism versus, evolution. Now, what if the fact is that, hey, I hate to break it to you, but 280,000 years ago, a breed of extraterrestrials landed here, and they dumbed down your DNA from 12-strand to 2-strand DNA. I mean, these school boards somewhere down in the South that are wed to fundamentalist Bible principles, and that are willing to send their children to Iraq to die for that, are not going to change in one generation. So that's the task that we have with education on this kind of outlier planet, mm-hmm. from an exopolitics point of view.
Right.
In my humble opinion.
Right. No, I want to get into that a little bit more because I have another question for you for that particular concept. But Vanessa has a question here for you also.
Hi, Alfred.
Yes, Vanessa. It's good to see you again, and I was very glad to meet you at the various conferences that we've been at together.
Yeah, it was nice meeting you, and I'm really excited to hear about this Exo University, particularly because I have personal information in it or experience with it. I develop curriculum for a living, and so I'm always interested in to see how people are changing the educational system and what's coming out. And my question is, how are you approaching the format for your Exo University? Are you going to follow along traditional ways of teaching, or are you open to different, the learning styles that are out there, and the way people learn is so much broader than we have in traditional education? What's your approach for that?
Oh, again, very, very good questions. And these are questions to which there are developing answers. Let me say this, is that in our first year, we are just dealing with with the online information system that we have now, and we are in the process on a parallel track of developing a new video online teaching system that will come online in 2013. So basically, we are again working with faculty that are expert in this area, and within the limitations of, say, a 90-minute class, which can be downloaded via video, because there are time zones all over the world, and also we want people to be able to come and download it at their own speed so that they can do it whenever they want, not on a fixed schedule. We're really open to that format, and that would be, say, if you're looking at the traditional semester to be 13 classes, well, a course would be, let's say, approximately 13 classes of 90 minutes each in video, and if there are other appropriate materials like PowerPoints or videos, well, they would be incorporated by our audiovisual department into part of the presentation. And all of that can be downloaded by the student on their own speed. If they want to take a year to complete that course, that's fine. If they're really want to complete it in 13 days, well, that's up to them. The faculty would determine what the final, we would have course requirements in addition to downloading all of the 13 episodes. It's a big challenge because, people come up there and they say, oh, yeah, I downloaded and watched all 13 steps. Well, you have to show proof of that, and maybe you just downloaded them, you didn't watch them. This is really sort of checking on people. So we leave that up to the faculty member to design a course requirement that would really, where you do merit a certificate for that course, and we work with the Exo University works with the faculty in developing the course, so that, for example, we're now developing one course in particular that'll be launching in 2013 with Patricia Corey, who just has a sort of a new consciousness tarot coming out that is being published by Random House, and that she's developed, and it also has written extensively on DNA activation. And I know, Dr. Joe, you've been invited together with Laura Magdalene Eisenhower to develop a course for 2013. So I look forward very much to working with you and Laura in developing your course. We can develop the various classes and subjects, and then that can be produced by our audiovisual department.
Yeah, absolutely.
And perhaps Vanessa can play a key role in shaping the curriculum there.
Yeah, I was glad to bring her on. It was just things happen in synchronicity in this world that I noticed. And she just started with co-hosting with me last week, and then I realized that you were coming on this week, and we're going to be talking about education. And
yeah,
she has a master's degree in instructional design, and
oh wow,
yeah, because we're connected closely, I get to see what she does and how things work and how they're different than the traditional system, and the educational basis that she provides, whether it be online, whether it be for big companies like, say, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this on air, but I'm going to anyway, like Estee Lauder and big things like that. I mean, these are big companies she actually works for. So, she's at the cutting edge of how an individual learns and how the various teachings are, because different settings require different types of teaching. And I never realized that until we would have these discussions, and then it makes a lot of sense. And the research that's out there is not being implemented in traditional education, but it's nice that I can see another avenue of
and so just thinking out loud, perhaps we could form a lab just with yourself, Vanessa, and Laura, and just begin to use that as a lab, and use the course that you're developing as a model for our future courses.
Right. Exactly.
Good. So we are free after June 4th. We're just enormously consumed by our launch now on May 27th, and by filming this forum, which will be historic in terms of a very important whistleblower coming forward to confirm all of these programs. But after June 4th, we could establish, say, a conference on Skype with the four of us and begin to develop this new format and have it manifest in terms of the course that you and Laura and even Vanessa would be teaching next year.
Right. That's really interesting. I do a lot of work developing online curriculum, and it's to see what's out there on the market and in the educational system, and how the internet has been really great in bringing people together from all over the world, from all different backgrounds and perspectives. And I think that type of thing should definitely be utilized in something like Exo University. So it's nice to know that you're using the internet as the platform, and then maybe to expand and broaden all of the capabilities that you can do to enable collaboration among all of these students and the faculty. I think it'll be really great to see that happen.
Yeah, and since we're at the design phase, we're now in the design phase of our information system and our actual platform, which will be, we call it the Track 2 system, which is the proprietary online educational platform that'll be operational in 2013. We're just at the design phase now. Vanessa, maybe you could become part of that design team with us. We've got John Kelly, who's head of our audiovisual department, and we have our company that has done this for a long time, located here in Vancouver, BC. We've got Brenda Ma, who's our educational coordinator here. And so we would very much value your input into designing how our online educational system works.
Yeah, that would be great. Any input that I can give you, I would be glad to help you with that.
Excellent, excellent. So as you see, this is very much a work in progress.
Right.
And I think that it is grounded in a certain multidimensional consciousness itself, and out of the necessity of getting of providing a platform for science, for exosciences, sciences, and exopolitics to really enter the official canon of knowledge and the curriculum at all levels, at the kindergarten, primary, secondary school level, university, postgraduate, and so that it can, we can get beyond the extraterrestrial truth embargo that we've had, and beyond what occurred with the 1953 Robertson panel, where they prohibited any mention of extraterrestrials or multidimensional activity or anything to do with exosciences or sciences in any media, in any academic context. It's very, very few and far between that you'll even see a course on telepathy or parapsychology. There are very few departments. Duke had one for a while, but it's, all of these sciences have been essentially shut out, and they've been relegated to the black budget, and they've been subjected to the ridicule factor in the public in order to keep everybody in the dark.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And even, going through my educational system, each degree that I obtained and was my associate, then my bachelor's, my master's, and then my doctorate, it was kind of more of the same. And a lot of the things that I found were monotonous and unnecessary in that dynamics in that system. And some of it has to do with the accreditation process and the standard and the rigor, which is a good thing. However, the frame of mind or the paradigm that they're coming from, that perspective, doesn't allow for alternative, or I don't even want to call it alternative because it's real life. It's things that people are dealing with, whether it be near-death experiences or they've seen unidentified flying object. Whatever it was, we don't know. But it was laughed at and ridiculed. And the more research that we do independently, and in this grassroots movement that you see, all of this information was hidden away at one time. But with the advent of the internet, now all these topics and this information is out there, and people know it's a reality. And I don't think it's going to be a far stretch for people to accept it. It's just the transitional phase, and anytime there's a change, there's fear involved, just what you were saying. So you were exactly right when you said you knew who you were dealing with was people that just had fears. And when they said that it's 10 years down the road, well, it's always going to be put to the back burner unless somebody takes the bull by the horn, so to speak. And I'm very, I'm excited for you to be that person. And you've been in this game for a long time. And who better to stand on the front lines and be the driving force than you, Alfred?
Well, yeah. Well, thank you. Well, this is a university, which is a community. So Exo University is designed as that community for learning for all of us in the exosciences, in the sciences, in exopolitics, in the entire multi-dimensional field. So, welcome aboard.
Well, thank you,
because this is really what it's about, is a community of mutual learners, mutual faculty, experiencers, and it's just a new way of doing that. So, we are now rolling out over the next 2 or 3 weeks. We will have our first classes. We'll actually have 7 classes online on May. Just to repeat, on May 27th, we'll be releasing 3 downloadable 90-minute video classes related to an introduction to time travel with an emphasis on teleportation. And on Friday, June 1st, from 7 to 10 p.m. Pacific time, we'll be having a worldwide online special seminar entitled The Jump Room. 2 participants discuss the CIA's Mars visitation program of the 1970s. And then on Sunday, June 17th, 2012, we'll be releasing 3 90-minute video classes relating to the 1980 to 83 CIA secret teleportation Mars program with Andrew D. Bashago and Bernard Mendez, who was a presidential assistant and part of that 1980 to 83 CIA program, with myself as the moderator in these classes. So we'll have a total of 7 classes in this area to give a jump start to Exo University. And in our 2012 academic year, just to get things started, we'll have a total of 8 forums. So each forum will have 3 90-minute classes. So that's 24 classes that people will have in 2012. And those who complete and download all 24 classes and complete the final course requirement, you don't have to complete it in 2012. You can complete it in your own time and do the final course requirement. We're not sure yet what that may be. It may be a paper or something like that, or a video. then you'll be eligible for an Exo University certificate, which I say, quote, may have future education, employment, and or entrepreneurial value to the viewer. So that's kind of our start for what you call, quote, certification.
Great. Okay. We're going to go to a commercial here, which is probably about 45 seconds or so. I just wanted, are you open to having callers call in, Alfred?
Please, yeah. I would love that.
All right. So right after the commercial break, we're going to ask the callers to call in, and the call-in number is 323-679-0927. And again, we're going to go to a quick commercial break here. We'll have Alfred Webre back on the show in just about 45 seconds or so. So if you guys need a drink or anything, go get it. We'll be back in about 45 seconds.
If you want to stay up to date with everything going on inside ATW, Awakening Truth Worldwide, you can join us on Facebook at facebook.com/Awakening Truth Worldwide. Here you'll find updates about upcoming live and on-demand online workshops, as well as conferences, special guests, and upcoming radio shows. There's so much to explore, so stay up to date at facebook.com/Awakening Truth Worldwide. Like our page and take the next step along your path of awakening.
Okay, welcome back to A Guiding Light. And we have Alfred Webre on the line here talking about Exo University. And while we're waiting for callers to call in to the call-in number of 323-679-0927, Vanessa has a few questions for you, Alfred.
Sure.
So you mentioned the courses that you have scheduled that are launching next week. What about the faculty? What's the process that you went through when selecting the faculty, and can you tell us a little bit about their background?
Sure. In fact, let me go to our website here, and if people want to go to exouniversity.org, and you will find there our basic website, which, as Exo University is a work in progress. And we essentially have a board of advisors and a board of directors. And the board of directors is really more of a legal thing. They are part of what was necessary under British Columbia law. But if we go to the Board of Advisors, many of the Board of Advisors have come in as also faculty. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at our Board of Advisors, and I see Dr. Joseph F. Marra, DNP, Area of Focus Energy Medicine. So perhaps, Dr. Marra, you might want to tell us how and why it is you're a member of the faculty in energy medicine and what you will be bringing to Exo University in energy medicine.
Wow. Okay, you're putting me on the spot here, Alfred. Okay.
Well, you know.
Well, I feel that I have enough to offer to the world due to my education in traditional education and traditional medicine. But I also independently did research on my own through energy healing, whether it be Reiki energy, also hypnotherapy, channeling, and various other modalities. And this was all independently researched. But nonetheless, I also went through the traditional educational system and went through education as far as medicine. And what I think it takes is somebody that could bridge the gap, so to speak. So I really think that since this is new on the horizon and it's going to be a change, so to speak, I really think it requires somebody that has been and experienced the opposite to help us move into the future and basically, as I was saying, the energy medicine is one, the hypnotherapy, channeling is something that people can do. And it's all about humanity and what our highest potential is, basically. And we could bring in some of the teachings from, say, Jesus, because a lot of people go to the Bible for their knowledge. And some of the things have been misinterpreted, but he said you will do these things and greater things. And for those who seek the Bible for confirmation. So I really think that, again, it's important to say bridge the gap. And with my research of doing hypnotherapy and traveling this country, going to the Isetti Ranch and filming orbs and UFOs, whether it be at the Isetti Ranch or at Cynthia Crawford's house there in Arizona, capturing the Phoenix lights, and my own personal experiences. And that's what is being left out of traditional education is humanity's experience. Now, of course, we bring that with us, but, you're not allowed to speak certain things, in the traditional education system, and it's taboo. So I hope to expand the knowledge base of humanity through my own experiences. And I'm not saying I know it all. Of course, I'm a perpetual student also. So I'm constantly learning. In fact, I learn a lot through teaching from my students many times, because some of the aspects of humanity and the way you would look at certain things, I wouldn't have had I not experienced teaching. And the questions that come about, it challenges me to answer the questions in an intelligent manner, but it also shows me where they're coming from and what they're looking to achieve. So hopefully that sums all that up with me personally. And again, I have an associate degree, a bachelor's, a master's, and a doctorate, all in traditional education. And I practice family medicine right now. And I have a license in the state of Pennsylvania, and I also have my license current in the state of New Mexico. So I'm hoping to be able to bridge the gap, and that's what I'm doing now in my current practice. I offer my patients a choice. You can either do traditional medicine, or you can do what we call complementary medicine, which is the hypnotherapy or the energy medicine. So.
Right. And, right. So, taking that and addressing Vanessa's question further, we've taken leading edge practitioners such as Dr. Joe and such as Laura Magdalene Eisenhower, who is a leading edge cosmologist and healer, and then within the framework of curriculum begin to teach the disciplines of energy medicine healing. Now, our students could be MDs. Our students could be medical students. Our students could be high school students. Our students could be, adults as part of adult continuing education, just people from the internet who are interested in their self-development. So that the part of Exo University, we say, is from ages 10 to 100 plus. We don't really connect into and are part of the traditional primary, secondary university curriculum system, since we don't believe that relates to knowledge or to personal development as it's occurring. And that Exo University can enhance the personal well-being as well as the education, employment, and entrepreneurial skills of the viewers or participants at any stage of life.
Right. And I'm glad.
Does that answer your or does that begin to address your question, Vanessa?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, Alfred, it's exciting to me to be able to offer an educational system that doesn't separate people from ages, from all walks of life, from different parts of the world, because that's what our biggest problem is, the separation. And even to the point where, children could be experiencing this type of education, many people might not think they're ready for it, so to speak. But I'll tell you what, Vanessa and I have been watching a series called Psychic Kids. And I don't know if you ever caught those episodes, but those kids have so much wisdom, and they talk like they are adults. And they have this inner knowing about them that they could offer to adults who might not be aware. And all the new kids that are coming in right now, whether they're called star seeds or, whatever, I mean, I think each wave of humanity that has come through had something to offer, but because we've been separated through ages, through cultures, through countries, through time zones, a lot gets missed. So it's really exciting to me to put everybody, at least give everybody the opportunity to experience this at their choosing.
Exactly. Yeah. So other faculty that for example, we're concentrating on in our first year in our 2012 forums are individuals that have come out as whistleblowers in exosciences from the national security state. And that's where the exosciences have been developed over the last 40 to 60 years. And a couple of examples is Andrew Bishago, who has 5 academic degrees, including a degree from Cambridge University, and also Bernard Mendez, who has a kind of a PhD, but it's still in the secret area, and they are providing. They're part of our faculty in the exosciences in the area of time travel and teleportation, which is in the quantum access area. How do we deal with our being part of the time-space matrix or the time-space hologram that we're in, and the whole question of energy and time as a dimension, which is our next, and the whole element of space as a dynamic and unstable dimension. We think of our planet Earth as being unstable in terms of tectonic plates and shifts, but we're beginning to understand that space itself is very unstable. And so these are part of our 2012 forums are really sort of an introduction to the paradigm of exosciences, sci-sciences, and exopolitics, because since there has been such a truth embargo imposed on the world population, especially since the 1953 Robertson panel of the CIA, which effectively embargoed all multidimensional sciences and knowledge of multidimensional species and reality on the human race. Our knowledge systems are, primitive. It's like the two-dimensional people in that book, where the people who are only used to one dimension are suddenly introduced to 2 or 3 dimensions. So that is how we chose our faculty for the 2012 forum, was really to provide cutting-edge, first-hand knowledge of what, in fact, is known in the national security state and regarding quantum access sciences, in other words, exosciences, in the quantum access areas of teleportation and time travel.
Yeah, that pretty much explains all of, the credentialing process, at least for the listeners who may want to explore this type of educational system. I know that there's going to be a transitional phase, and of course, sometimes there's chaos within transition and all that kind of stuff. But do you foresee any problems or anything like that? Or are you trying to look ahead, or just kind of cross the bridge when you come to it?
Sorry, I don't understand. What you're asking.
Well, basically, sometimes it's an uphill climb, so to speak, whenever you're making changes like this. And like for employers that not recognizing a certificate as being legitimate, or at least at first, and during this transition, do you see anything that may be a problem that?
Well, no, not really, because we're sort of on an opt-in basis. I mean, only students that want to opt in will, and if you put it on your resume, only employers that want to opt in will.
Right.
And or if you're a practitioner and you put the certificate on your wall, only your clients that want to opt in and recognize it will. And so it's kind of sort of an evolutionary opt-in basis, which is how this new consciousness works.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Will there be anything like financial aid eventually? Or, I mean, that's one of the things that everybody looks for. Is like, oh gosh, I can't afford it.
Like what? Sorry.
Financial aid, or is it that inexpensive that people, like you said, it could be like when you go to a Starbucks,
Look. Classes for a 90-minute class is $4.95.
Right.
So people can either choose to go to a Starbucks and have a latte, or spend $4.95 on their future.
Awesome.
And in this course, it's, in the forums, to get this certificate, it's 24 classes. So you can do that over a year. In a normal course, it's 13 classes, each of which will be $4.95. You may ask, where does that money go? Well, that money is split up in a formula. Part of it goes to the faculty for their effort. Part of it goes to the AV department, which has to spend time producing all of the videos and everything. And part of it goes to Exo University itself, which is a nonprofit, so that it can continue growing and advertising and, building its platform. So the profit motive is not a profit here. It's about the cost of a latte at Starbucks, and you make a choice. I don't think that $4.95 you have to talk about financial aid. Now, if we're talking about outreach to very poor societies where $4.95 means a great deal, well, there we might say if we're outreaching to India, but even there, there's a lot of flexibility. So,
right.
And we'll be putting a lot of free content on there as well.
No, thank you for that. That explains a lot, because I knew, and I'm asking questions not just for myself, but for the listeners who are like,
sure.
How does this work?
Yeah, this is not. I mean, what has happened is that because of greed and the world bankster structure, financial structure, the banksters have taken over higher education, so it costs $52,000 just for tuition alone to go to Harvard. Now, so that students coming out of just their bachelor's are saddled with $100,000 or $250,000 worth of debt, let alone in their higher education.
Right.
So this is to eliminate that.
Right.
It sounds really good, and I like that you're making the education affordable and accessible to pretty much almost anyone that wants to learn. They have the opportunity to learn, and from what seems to be a nice faculty with a lot of experience that can contribute a lot to the spreading of exo science education all over the world.
Right. Yeah. That's our main goal. I think you've really summed it up well, Vanessa.
Yeah, I think that maybe the listeners might be interested in learning more about what is the registration process. You mentioned that the first class goes live next week. Is there still time for them to register?
Oh, you don't have to register. See, you just take these classes on your own, and then once you complete all the classes in a course, you would contact Exo University and say, I would like to claim a certificate, or you could write us at the beginning and declare your intent. But you raised a very good question, and what we'll do is we'll put a registration form up there with our launch, so that once you complete all 24 classes, then you and the requirements of the course, you'll be eligible.
Okay, sounds good. Alfred, I want to respect your time, and the show can go till right now, or now would be a good place to end it, I think, because I think that I've certainly presented, the sum and substance of what I need to do for right now. Okay, great. Well, I want to thank you for being on the show, and we'd like to have you back for future updates if there's anything that's upcoming.
Sure. And I will be in contact with you both and with Laura after June 4th.
Wonderful. Would you like to give out your website or your contact information?
Sure. It's at exouniversity.org, and people can email me at alfred@exouniversity.org.
Okay, great. Is there anything else you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Just that, life is full of opportunities. I never thought that I would be embarked on this wonderful adventure of, providing a platform for education in exosciences, sciences, and exopolitics, which is the doorway to a positive future for the planet.
Okay. Great. And thanks again for being on the show, Alfred.
Absolutely.
And we'll catch you next time. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So there you have it, Alfred Webre with Exo University. And next week, Sunday, May 27th, we have Patricia Corey And Patricia and I will be discussing her exploration through this three-dimensional reality and beyond, her mission in this lifetime, and the inspiration as well as the content of her books. Is there more than three dimensions we perceive? Have some of us come as messengers and reminders of the truth? Tune in as we discuss the possibilities. Until next time, I'm Dr. Marra.
And I'm Vanessa De Silva.
Signing off.